Welcome to Piper's Rants. I am your host, Piper Paprika, and I will be taking you on your journey through my rants. My intentions for this channel really is just to share my experience, my wisdom, my knowledge, the things I've woken up to, the things I've learned, the things I've observed, witnessed, seen, been through, all of that, my perspectives on current events and what is occurring on this planet right now, because we are in unprecedented times, my friends. We are in unprecedented times. There is a lot going on, and I have been sitting on this YouTube channel for a minute. Didn't really have the right tools and resources to really move forward, and now I kind of do, even though it's not going to be probably too professional, but I got to start somewhere. I'm at a point in my life where I need to put myself out there more because I have a lot to share with the world. Just like most of you guys, a lot of us are being called to speak up, do something, take action, start somewhere, right? We all pretty much, people like me, we all have the same mission, and that is it's the same mission, but we're doing it in different ways. Essentially, we're bringing about new change to this planet that so desperately needs it. These unprecedented times we are in, you came here for this, and it is why you are here, because we are here to change the trajectory of this planet. We are moving into more energetic parts of the galaxy. With that comes higher frequencies. To my knowledge, we've been more in a lower frequency part of the galaxy for however long, which pretty much proliferates the whole 3D primitive kind of mindset. You know, when you think of that kind of stuff and you look at Earth, our history and how it's kind of how always been, that kind of stuff. I don't feel that kind of stuff is really conducive to where we are moving forward. We are moving forward in a more conscious and positive direction. And it goes hand in hand with moving into more energetic parts of the galaxy. So everything is going to be coming up to be cleansed that cannot survive in these higher frequencies. Anything of a lower frequency. The goal is not to eliminate evil, because that is just not possible. We are in a universe of duality. We are on a planet of duality. You cannot have the good without the bad, the light without the dark. There are other universes, I am sure, that operate on completely different universal laws. But as far as this one goes, this is how it's done here. So the goal is not to get rid of evil. The goal is to restore balance. We have gotten so off kilter on this planet, and we've been here for so long. We've been here for so long to where we are now. And where we are now is really not conducive to where we are going. Physically, or just however you picture that. With moving into more energetic parts of the galaxy, going into higher frequencies, also comes the rise in consciousness. Everything is connected, my friends. But the rise in consciousness is a direct effect from moving into more energetic parts of the galaxy. So not only do we need to shed all the really toxic 3D things, bring all the dark to light, clean our bodies, all that kind of 3D stuff, but we're also raising our consciousness, where we are becoming more aware. We are activating our DNA that's been dormant, our DNA that's been tampered with, okay? We are all activating it. This is part of the Ascension. This is part of the Great Awakening. There's been speculation. People want to, talk about all the woo shit. Oh, Ascension, 3D to 5D is all woo. And it sounds woo as fuck, but I'm telling you, my friends, if you really dig into what is occurring on this planet, you begin to see that there is a lot more occurring than what meets the eye. And so this 3D to 5D concept is a state of consciousness. It is not a physical place. Our world is not going to suddenly transform into something magical and everything bad is just going to go away. We build all that, okay? We build all that. So the point is, this rise in consciousness is not going to stop, my friends. Okay, it's not going to stop. I know how really scary it looks out there, okay? But we got to put things into perspective. Just think about 10 years ago, okay? Think about 10 years ago. Were we really, as a collective, talking about any of the things we are talking about nowadays? No, not really. Absolutely not. It started surfacing more and more come 2020, and then it just ignited. But the simple fact that we are, as a collective, talking about so many things that need to be talked about nowadays that we weren't talking about 10 years ago, okay? That right there is a big indication of where we're going. And that has everything to do with just pretty much everything that's going on. The rise in consciousness is going to bring these things to light, and it's going to wake people up. And it's like a 100th monkey effect. It's going to keep waking more and more people up across the planet. Not everybody is going to wake up, though. And that's okay. Not everybody signed up for what is occurring on this planet and where we are going, which is why we need to respect each and everyone's individual journey. No one is above another. No matter your state of consciousness, higher or lower, no one is above another. Whatever that soul chooses to do for that incarnation is relevant to that soul's journey. You may not agree with it, and it may look completely fucked. And honestly, there is a lot of that is occurring on this planet I find completely fucked. But those souls chose to go through that for whatever reason. They're at that state of consciousness where they need to go through something like that in order to evolve. So we really cannot judge. We really cannot judge. We're not here to be above one another or be better or anything. We're just simply here, essentially, to get back in touch with our humanity again. And that's one of the pitfalls of the Great Awakening that people get trapped into, this whole NPC narrative, right? This whole soulless narrative, which stems from Dolores Cannon, whom I very much respect, and I'm all on board with her information. I feel, in my opinion, the whole NPC information she came forward with was, it may have needed to be interpreted in a different way. I do not think she in any way meant, or hopefully not. If she said it, I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember her saying it. That there were no souls, that NPCs means these are bodies with no souls. My friends, whether this was an organic agenda from a misunderstanding or not, we cannot fall into this trap of looking at people like this. We absolutely cannot, okay? You need to understand that these vessels cannot run without some semblance of a soul. Every single person you encounter, no matter their state of consciousness, has some semblance of a soul. The problem is these people, a large portion of our population, have been operating at such a very low level of soul that those who are waking up are trying to make sense of everything. And the only way they can make sense of it all and their behavior and everything is by rendering them soulless. That's the only thing that makes sense. They're just drones. They don't think. They just robot around. No, my friends, these people most definitely still have a soul, okay? And there's many different ways it can be tainted and not operating at a full percent, okay? You have your soul operating low enough that can create things, entity attachments to come in, take over that vessel, which I honestly feel is a scary large portion of our population, to be quite honest. But the fact still remains, these people still have a soul. Deep down there is a soul. Vessels, bodies, physical bodies, whether it be us humans, animals, clones, robots, aliens, they all have some semblance of a soul, consciousness. The consciousness, the soul, is the battery for these vessels, these physical vessels. Now you could argue, okay, well, when you say physical, when it comes down to it, physical matter actually doesn't exist in the way that we know. Everything is actually held together by light. Light, that's insane. Light and vibration. Ain't that nuts? But I digress. My point is, I don't want people to lose their humanity because we've already lost a lot of it, and honestly, we need to get it back. And so you got to be very careful navigating the Great Awakening and all the subjects within it. You have to use discernment, my friends. That's one of the name of the games. In fact, almost one of the main name of the games of why everything is occurring the way it is here, because we have strayed so far from our natural organic intuition, discernment blueprint, our inner knowing, our innate knowing, where we don't need any external forces to tell us what to believe. We all have that ability within us to figure out what the fuck just on our own, okay? So we essentially, after allowing so much shit to pile up for so long, we're not just talking decades, hundreds, a couple thousands of years, okay? After things piling on for so long of us being completely numb to our intuition, ignoring our intuition, not just ignoring it. It's not that simple. We have been, the people on this planet, they have been actively attacked, their intuition, beaten out of them. Okay. So I totally get it. But the population of this planet has long not very much been in touch with it enough to not allow all the fucking crazy ass diabolical shit that's been occurring for however long it is as it has. I mean, I studied just the last, 150 years, off and on the last few years, and so many times whatever I'm studying, I'm like, how in the flying hell did nobody back then stand up and say something? Why did they allow this to happen? And you know what? Maybe some people did, and they were censored and suppressed and silenced. That goes on today. Nothing new under the sun. But at the same time, I know that people have been oblivious to shit so much for a long time. But for relevant purposes, we're just sticking to the modern era. People have been just completely fucking oblivious. I mean, let's take Barbara Bush, for example, who is a man, okay, that is Aleister Crowley's son, wasn't even a transitioning female, wasn't even trying to look feminine, was just a motherfucking man with makeup and a dress. And literally nobody said anything back then. In fact, it wasn't only until the last couple of years that people were like, oh, so it's looking like Barbara Bush is a man. Yeah. And when I came to that conclusion, I look back, I look at the pictures and videos and how he talked, and I'm like, how in the shit how did nobody, it was like everybody's under a spell. And that's pretty much kind of what it's always been, right? That's what we're here to do, break that spell, right? But my point is, we've allowed things to go on for so long because we have ignored our intuition, or we've had it completely suppressed from external forces, to where now we've got such a massive mess on our hands. It is going to take us going through all the everything, bringing to light, just everything that we're going to have to go through. All the confusion, all the chaos, all the trauma, all of this stuff serves a purpose. As exhausting as it is getting people more and more in touch with their discernment and intuition. Because when everything around you in the external world turns into a big old fucking misinformation and disinformation campaign, right? And you get to a point of just like, what in the fuck do I believe anymore? I don't even know, right? Well, that's when you need to take a step back and really think about things, center yourself, and then within that moment you should find that you sit with yourself and that you go within and that you process everything through your discernment and you get it stronger and you develop it and you use it when you navigate the world and you use it when you navigate your research and your due diligence, and it gets stronger and stronger. Sometimes you'll get things wrong and sometimes you'll get things right, and it'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. And we are turning our DNA back on. We are turning our intuition, our discernment back on. And one of the things that assists us with this is everything that's going on, right? It is all for a higher purpose, my friends. When I speak on things like this is a more elevated view. A lot of my views and perspectives are going to be more of what I would consider 5D, a 5D perspective, a more evolved perspective. So when I say it's all for a higher purpose, I mean it in a sense where the dark works for the light. We could not have growth, evolution if it wasn't for the dark, okay? The dark serves a purpose. Now, granted, I will absolutely agree, and I will always say the dark has gone way too far on this planet, which is why we are in the times we are in now, because it's time to restore balance from being so off kilter, like I was saying. So, my friends, we are in a time of great, massive change on this planet. I really don't think people grasp or understand what is occurring here. It is so much more than what you see with your eyes. It is so much more than what is going on out there politically. It is so much more. We are in the middle of a multi-dimensional, multi-layered, multifaceted war, okay? Everything is weaponized against us at this point. We are going through a food war, a weather war, an economic war, a financial war, a spiritual war, my friends. A spiritual war. This war we are in is spiritual, okay? A lot of people don't get that, and I understand why, okay? But this war is spiritual. So there's a lot more going on than what meets the eye. There have been a lot of people waking up the last few years. I have been one of them. I have been on a gradual incline of waking up since 2008. But I did not activate till 2020. And of course, 2020 was a year for a lot of us to activate, right? I have been through probably some of the deepest, darkest times of my life the last few years, essentially what would be known as the dark night of the soul, right? The elusive yet present dark night of the soul. Once you spiritually awaken, spiritually activate, evolve, however you want to look at it. There are a lot of people that have gone through this, are going through this, and will go through this. To those people, I would just like to say, my friends, hang in there. You're talking to someone, and I will go into detail about my journey and what I've been through the last few years, but I've been through a fuck of a lot on this spiritual awakening fucking activation journey that I've been on since 2020. I've done it pretty much all alone, and it has been a hell of a time. I spent a few years where I was sui, right? You get what I'm saying? Being spiritually attacked. Like I will go into it one day. So I know that there are a lot of people that are going through it because this is part of the process of ascension. Because if your soul chose to go through what is occurring on earth and what is coming, this ascension, all of this, all the change, then you yourself are going to be going through your own detoxification, purification process, right? Everything's going to come to the surface, all the trauma, the addictions, the beliefs that, you once believed, but they're not true, so you need to change them, all of that kind of shit. So with this, a lot of people experience the most craziest of shit. How I explain it as invisible shit. Like literally the last few years, it's like invisible shit has been attacking me. And that's part of like this whole DNA activation, ascension process, dark night of the soul, detoxing, shedding, transforming, transmuting, blah, 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 right? It's part of the process. And I'm telling you, these times get dark. So to those people that are going through this and that will go through, those times get super dark. I've been there through experience. So when speaking directly to those people, I just want to say, hang in there. I promise stability will eventually come. I promise you will acclimate to this information, okay? It will forever change you. It will forever change you. And it's going to be really tough changes at first, but you know what? It's going to be for the better, not just for your life, but for the life of this planet, okay? You eventually come out of your dark night of the soul, okay? It doesn't last forever. That doesn't mean some shit won't eventually happen again. Of course, we are on Earth. We cannot escape the fact that shit happens all the time, okay? I know I've rebuilt my life from ground zero a couple different times. Shit happens. I do feel for myself and honestly for a lot of us, especially after everything we have gone through in our lives, that we are over the bulk of all that shit, all that really fucked up shit that we went through. We're over that and we're here now. So it's perspective. Whatever you've been through in life, you're over that now, dude. You're over that. You're here now. It's in the past. Don't have any regrets. You're here now. Move forward with it. And I'm telling you right now, my friends, I know it's exhausting out there. I know times are trying. I know how everything looks. I know how it does not look good for us out there, despite the fact Trump just got in office, so that has restored some hope. But friends, let me tell you, you do not want to fucking miss what's coming, dude. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. I promise everything you've been through in your life, everything you've been through in your life is going to be worth what's coming. Okay? This isn't some kind of, hopium or whatever. I have full faith and fucking trust that I 100% believe in everything that I say. Okay? And I don't come to these conclusions in naive or just really not discerning ways. I have a very strict way of taking in information and how I label it truth and whatnot. So I'm not saying I know everything. For the love of God, I am not saying that. I personally have seen too much. I've seen way too much at this point to show me anything other than what I believe. And what I believe is our future has never been brighter. I believe that we may have a rough road ahead, despite maybe Trump getting in office and helping on the back end. these people, these fucks, this evil that we're up against is relentless, and they're not going to quit. So I don't really know how long things are going to go on. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not making any predictions other than the fact that I know we are on a positive timeline. I know that great change is upon us, and I know that you and we are here for a reason. If you are waking up, you are here for a reason, okay? You're here for a reason, and it's not to do the same thing you've done your whole life. It's not to keep doing the same thing you've done your whole life, okay? Where we've mostly lived an empty life, just unfulfilled. You are here for something great. You are here to help us, help the rest of us bring in a new earth, because we are here to do this. And we have absolutely what it takes. We absolutely have what it takes, okay? There are so many souls that want to come here to Earth and partake in what's going on this planet. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, really? You want to come down and trade spots for a day? I promise you're going to regret it, right? Maybe not. I don't know if that's a form of naivety on the other side with why, that so many souls want to be here when it's so fucking awful here. It is so awful, right? It is so traumatic, at least for someone like me. There's a lot of trauma and a lot of shit and suffering that goes on this planet, right? But it's almost like the other side. They don't really care. It doesn't matter what you go through in your incarnation. What matters is the goal that soul set out for that specific incarnation to be met. And if that means going through an immense amounts of suffering to get there, well, then so be it. And so when I came to that realization, I was like, well, so my suffering doesn't matter? It doesn't matter at all? Yeah, no, I don't really think it does, guys. So the best you can do with it is utilize it. Help it to help you grow and evolve. God, that sounds so easy, right? The point is, my friends, you chose to be here. Whether you believe that or not, you chose to be here for whatever reason. And if you're on a waking up journey, you are here to partake into something so massive, life-changing, planet-changing, okay? This may all sound woo-woo and crazy to some people. I don't even know the kinds of people that are going to come across these videos. It's whoever this is meant to reach, it will. I'm not even worried about the people that don't understand it, to each their own. This ain't for you. What can I say? So you went through what you did throughout your life. You endured throughout your life what you did, what I did, what we all did. We endured. We endured to get educated, well educated in the matrix. Some of us even well programmed, brainwashed, poisoned, all that kind of shit, which I think all of us were to a degree. We had to get educated in the matrix because you have to know your enemy so that you know how to take them down, do you not? So now that we have been through what we have been through, and many of us on this journey of elevating our consciousness and evolving and essentially ascending, so you have endured what you have to help bring in, and however that looks for you, a new way of doing things on this planet. We all have the same mission, but we're all doing it in different ways. And it's to bring a new way of doing things on this planet, right? How things have been done here for so long. Well, first off, they've been ran by the dark. Whether the dark reigns for a period of time, whether they overtake things, whether things just are controlled by the dark, it doesn't always last, right? It's cyclic. It goes back and forth, actually. But anything that is built on not an organic foundation is eventually going to come crumbling. And so when it comes to the dark, the only thing they can really do is mimic God, okay? Mock God, try to replicate God, okay? So when you've done that for so long and you've built such a superficial, toxic, artificial fucking society, artificial everything, artificial morals and values, everything, all in a sense that is mocking God, not on the organic blueprint of life, it essentially is all going to come tumbling down. And that is pretty much what is occurring at this present time. And so now that this is occurring, we are essentially activating our inherent human abilities, where we are starting to get our abilities, our DNA activated, and our abilities coming back online, our clairvoyant abilities, okay? Telekinesis, teleportation, remote viewing, okay, time travel. You can do all of that without any external forces, my friends, which is quite a mind fuck, right? It's quite a mind fuck. You can do all of that through your own consciousness. Okay, so this just brings me back to the fact we really have not been told the truth about really anything. Our reality is far more fascinating than we've been led to believe. But my point is, our DNA is activating. We have abilities coming online. I mean, everybody, there's so many people that have accessed their clairvoyant abilities, because us as humans, we don't just have these five senses, my friends. We are not just physical creatures. We are multidimensional beings, okay? So I just want everyone to understand you are far more powerful than you realize, okay? There's a reason we have been attacked so bad for so long, and it's because of how powerful we as humans in these bodies are, what we are able to do. We create our reality. We can do all kinds of things, not just physically, but with our own consciousness. We can heal ourselves, okay? The truth with all of this is far more fascinating, like I said, than we've been led to believe. We are truly magnificent beings. If you only knew how powerful you were, my friend, if you only knew how powerful you were, you would drop every ounce of fear you ever had. Because nothing could take away the fact of your knowing of how powerful you are. And that brings me to probably my closing. And I just want people to know that if you are to partake in what is occurring here on this planet and what is coming, if you are on this awakening journey, that it is absolutely vital. It is vital, if not the main thing you need to absolutely do, is love yourself, forgive yourself, and know thyself. If anything, if you take anything from this video, take that, okay? Love yourself, forgive yourself, know thyself. That is the name of the game. Because when you do all those things, you are able to live a more happy, healthy, conscious life, okay? There's so much beauty to be had, my friends. There's so much good occurring on this planet, okay? There's so much good. If you just look at the small, tiny details of your life that make you live the way you live, even if it's not where you want to be, okay? There's a lot of good that is occurring, despite what we see with our eyes and what we may observe with them as well. There is a lot of good occurring. So rest when you need to, but get back on that horse, and whatever you feel compelled to do, just keep pressing on, keep going. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss what's coming. You do not want to miss what's coming. I promise you, everything you've been through, I'm hyping this up, ain't I? I'm hyping it up, absolutely. I truly fucking believe this. I don't know how long it's going to take, my friends. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I promise you, the best is yet to come, and it's all going to be even better than we could ever imagine. But it's going to take hard work on our part as well. So we need to keep that in mind. To those who think the light has won, absolutely, I agree. But we don't escape the work here on the ground. We absolutely have to put in the work to create the new earth that we want. We have a chance to do this collectively. And I think for the most part, collectively, everybody just wants, the same things, right? Same things. We all just want the same things. As humanity, we all want the same things. So, in closing, my friends, thank you for listening to this first Piper Rants broadcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be easy on yourselves. Be easy on each other. I love you all. Have a wonderful night.